For almost all of human history, nobody woke up to an alarm clock. No buzzing phone. No morning traffic. No emails waiting to be answered before breakfast. For tens of thousands of years, humans opened their eyes to sunlight, listened to the sounds around them, and decided what the day might become. And strangely, despite having less technology, less comfort, and fewer possessions, many scientists believe ancient humans may have had something modern people are slowly losing: time. Today, the average person spends most of life working. Schedules control nearly every hour. We measure our days through productivity, deadlines, and tasks that never seem to end. But ancient humans lived in a completely different rhythm. So how did they actually spend their days? To understand that, we need to forget modern life for a moment. Imagine waking up 40,000 years ago. The air is cold. The fire from the night before is still glowing softly beside you. Around you are maybe 20 or 30 people. Your family, your group, the only people you truly need in the world. You own almost nothing. A few tools, maybe a spear, animal skins for warmth, a small pouch carrying objects important to you. That is your entire life. And somehow it is enough. The morning begins slowly. Nobody rushes anywhere because there is nowhere urgent to be. Ancient humans did not divide life into work time and free time. Survival itself was part of daily living, woven naturally into the day. People sit near the fire talking while children play nearby. Someone sharpens a stone blade. Someone repairs a basket. Someone laughs at a story told many times before. For early humans, social connection was not entertainment. It was survival. Long before governments, police, or written laws existed, human groups survived through trust. If someone became sick, others shared food. If hunters failed, the group still ate together. Humans depended on each other completely. That is why ancient people spent enormous amounts of time simply talking. Modern researchers studying hunter-gatherer societies discovered that conversation filled much of the day. People discussed food, weather, relationships, dreams, strange events, and stories from the past. And stories mattered deeply. Stories carried knowledge before books existed. A story could teach children where dangerous animals lived. A story could explain how to survive a harsh winter. A story could preserve the memory of ancestors long after their deaths. In many ways, human civilization began around fires at night. But survival still required effort. As the sun rose higher, some members of the group left to gather food. Contrary to popular imagination, ancient humans were not constantly fighting for survival every minute of the day. Anthropologists studying traditional hunter-gatherer groups found that people often spent far fewer hours securing food than modern workers spend inside offices. Some gathered fruits, roots, nuts, or honey. Others tracked animals through forests or open grasslands. Hunting was difficult, but humans possessed one unusual advantage: endurance. Unlike most animals, humans can sweat efficiently and travel long distances without overheating. Ancient hunters sometimes followed animals for hours until the exhausted creature finally collapsed. It was not speed that made humans powerful. It was patience, and patience shaped their entire lifestyle. Ancient life moved slowly. No notifications interrupted thought. No endless stream of information filled the mind every second. There was silence, a kind of silence modern people rarely experience anymore. By midday, food returned to camp. And something important happened next. It was shared. In many early human societies, survival depended on cooperation so strongly that selfishness became dangerous. A successful hunter did not simply keep everything for himself. Food moved through the group because everyone understood a simple truth. One day, you may be the hungry person. This constant sharing helped humans build strong social bonds unlike almost any other species on Earth. After eating, the pace of life slowed again. This part of ancient life is difficult for modern minds to understand because it looks unproductive. People rested. They sat beneath trees. They watched children play. They repaired tools slowly and carefully. Some decorated objects with carvings or patterns, even though those decorations served no survival purpose at all. And yet humans kept creating beauty. Archaeologists discovered cave paintings over 30,000 years old showing animals painted with incredible skill and detail. Ancient people made beads from shells, carved musical instruments from bone, and painted symbols onto stone walls deep inside caves. These things required time. And that may reveal one of the biggest truths about ancient human life. Humans were never meant to spend every waking moment working. Even in prehistoric times, people searched for meaning, beauty, music, and creativity. Children spent their days differently too. They were not separated into classrooms for most of childhood. Instead, they learned by watching adults closely. A child saw how tools were made by sitting nearby. They learned hunting by copying older children. They learned social behavior by living inside a tightly connected group every day. Education was part of life itself. No one needed to announce that learning was happening. As evening approached, the group gathered together again. Firelight changed everything. For ancient humans, night was not filled with screens or artificial lights. Darkness covered the world completely except for the small circle of light surrounding the campfire, and inside that circle, human culture grew stronger. People told stories. They joked. They sang. Some danced. Others sat quietly listening to the sounds of insects, wind, and distant animals moving through the dark. Anthropologists discovered that nighttime conversations among hunter-gatherer groups became far more imaginative than daytime conversations. During the day, people focused on practical survival. But at night, humans discussed myths, spirits, dreams, ancestors, and impossible things. In darkness, the human imagination expanded. Then sleep came, not in the rushed, exhausted way many people sleep today, but naturally, following the rhythms of firelight and darkness. And the next morning, the cycle began again. Of course, ancient life was not paradise. People suffered injuries. Diseases existed without modern medicine. Children sometimes died young. Danger was real. But there is another kind of suffering ancient humans may have experienced far less often. The feeling that life is constantly rushing forward while somehow never truly beginning. Modern people often sacrifice their health, time, and relationships chasing a future where they hope happiness will finally arrive. Ancient humans had no concept of retirement. They did not spend decades waiting to live. Their lives happened now. Then, around 10,000 years ago, everything changed. Agriculture appeared. At first, farming seemed like a solution. Growing food allowed larger populations to survive. Villages expanded into towns. Towns became cities, and civilization slowly emerged. But farming also transformed the human relationship with time. Now fields required constant attention. Crops had to be protected. Food needed storage. Land became property. Labor became necessary every season. Over generations, humans moved from flexible daily rhythms into structured work. Eventually came kingdoms, taxes, armies, schedules, jobs. For the first time in history, many humans no longer controlled most of their own time. And that system kept growing until it created the modern world around you right now. A world of alarms, deadlines, calendars, and endless productivity. Yet beneath all of it, your brain still carries the instincts of ancient humans. You still crave sunlight, conversation, movement, rest, meaningful relationships, moments of silence. Because biologically, you are almost identical to the people who once sat around fires under open skies thousands of years ago. The modern world changed incredibly fast. Human nature did not. And maybe that explains why so many people feel strangely disconnected today. Not because modern life is entirely wrong, but because somewhere deep inside us, a very ancient part of the human mind still remembers a slower way to live.